What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the King Closers Formula. I am the King Closer, RJ Bates III, coming to you on the final Tuesday of 2025 at 2:22 p.m. Hope you guys enjoyed your Christmas and are prepared for your New Year's. We're going to kick off 2026 and in 2025 the way we have the past 2 years with my 22 elements of productivity. These are the things that I do daily that enable me to accomplish the things that I have accomplished as an entrepreneur and just quite frankly, as a human being, right? You guys have enjoyed these in the past. I will be honest with you, some of them are repeated from the past 2 years, but when I break down what enables me to be able to run both Titanium Investments and Titanium University, show up, this is like 715th straight day of bringing a long form YouTube video, showing up every single day on the daily implementation calls for Titanium University, being able to do one-on-ones with Titanium University members, working with my team on the wholesale operation, as well as being a present dad and just enjoying the freedom that we have created as entrepreneurs. These are the elements that I live my life by, and I share this to start the year off every single year. So hopefully you guys can take some things away from it, implement it in your life, and hopefully it gives you structure and organization and some inspiration on how to better achieve efficiency moving in to the new year. So before we get into the 22 elements, because once I get into it, I am going to be just pretty streamlined going through it, what list by list. But let's see who all we've got here. We've got Olivia, new TU member. What's up, Olivia? We got Nick. What's up, man? Anais Cantu, the GOAT. I appreciate that, Anais. What's up, Danny? Finish the year strong, absolutely. Smiles 5.7. What's up, man? Antoine Living. Hey, RJ, happy holidays. Had my call with Garrett yesterday. Going to close some deals and then join TU ASAP. Love it. Love it, Antoine. There's Olivia dropping the titanium flex. We got Santiago in here. What's going on, everybody? Appreciate you hopping in, joining me. All right, let's get into it. My 22 elements of productivity. Follow these to close more deals in 2026 and hopefully just have a more efficient and enjoyable lifestyle. That's what I'm focused on right now. I love the hook that we have on the title here. Follow these to close more deals. But in reality, what are we trying to accomplish when we close more deals? Have an enjoyable life. It's not about closing deals. It's about all the things that we want to do and how we create our own reality. That's what this list is for. So we're going to start off with number one. And just like we have in the previous 2 years, it all starts with have a good night's sleep. Now, I'll take it a little bit step further. I became pretty obsessive over my circadian rhythm in 2025, making sure that my sleep consistency was as high as possible. And now I wear a Whoop, and I'll talk about the Whoop a couple of times during this. And the Whoop, basically, it tracks, your sleep and your workout and your heart and all this. But one of the things that it really focuses on is your sleep consistency. How close do you fall asleep at the same time? How close do you wake up at the same time every single day? And the importance of this. And it actually elongates our life, right? So it's important. It's one of those things that I really became obsessive over, making sure that not only was I getting a good night's rest and energized the next day, but I was staying in that rhythm of even on weekends, right? Not falling into it's Friday or Saturday night. I can stay up a lot later. I can sleep in. That throws you out of the rhythm going into the early parts of the next week. And so really kind of having that discipline that, yes, I want to have a good night's sleep. So I am clear of mind and I'm focused and I can be 100% present for whatever it is I need to do the next day, but also that I have that rhythm down and I'm not really, I try to eliminate having to think about a lot of the different stuff that I have to do during the day because there is a lot that I do. And so for me, it's, hey, this is the time that I'm going to go to sleep. This is the time that I'm going to wake up, and keep that as consistent as I possibly can. So my goal is to always have in between an 85 to 90% sleep consistency score, meaning that it varies by just a few minutes one way or another. And really that's on the falling asleep, because that's the part that's kind of the variable. Waking up, I wake up at the exact same time every single day of the week, no matter what. And so it starts with have a good night's sleep. Element number 2 is create a morning routine. Now, I'm not big on it needs to be specific things that you do. I'm just trying to eliminate the first thing that I do in the morning when I wake up is not really have to think about what do I need to accomplish this morning. So for me, my morning routine is really simple. I'm going to take a shower. I brush my teeth. I put my contacts in. I blow dry the beard. I put the deodorant on. I do my nose spray. Like it's the exact same way every single morning. And so to start off my days, it kind of, I used to say I'm not a morning person, but I kind of have become a morning person. And maybe it's because I have this routine where I just don't really have to think about it. Now, the one things that I have options and variables in is that I do like to either listen to music or an audible book while I'm getting ready in the morning in the shower and doing all the other stuff. Those are variables, but there is a routine in which I go through, and I kind of just leave it up to how I'm feeling in the morning, whether or not I want to listen to an audible book or whether or not I want to listen to music. That's really the only decision that I make in the morning. Outside of that, everything else is very consistent, and I do it the exact same way, all the way down to driving to the office and what I do when I get into the office first things in the morning, okay? Element number 3 is plan your day. Now, for me, this is where I think most newer entrepreneurs really struggle, is having a plan for their day, because there's so many different shiny objects. There's so many different things that we can shift our attention to, from whether or not it's social media. You guys watching this YouTube video right now, was this a part of your plan for the day, or is it just something that you saw a notification on your phone? And how often are you falling into that? Is it every notification that you see that comes across, whether it's an Instagram reel, a Facebook comment, someone liked your post, an email? Everything that I do throughout the day is planned. And that really is so critical once you get established, because there's going to be so many different things that can pull your attention, from the aspect of, hey, someone wants to have a financial meeting, a tax planning meeting, daily implementation calls inside of TU. There's a fire going on with a wholesale deal. Oh, I need to record a video for the YouTube channel. For me, if I didn't have my days planned out, I would get lost in the weeds and I would never actually accomplish anything. And so when you're newer, there's majority of the work that needs to take place inside of your business is on your shoulders. And so if you don't have it planned out, that's an issue. This is why every single time we onboard newer TU members, I ask them, what is your time commitment? And I do not want you to include watching modules, attending implementation calls. How much time commitment are you giving to revenue generating activities like calling sellers and calling buyers? I want to know that. So then when I hear about your results or the lack thereof in the future, I can reference the time commitment that you've given and see if that's really taking place. Because the majority of people don't have their day planned out. And I'm talking about all the way down to, these are the hours I'm talking to sellers. These are the hours and the time frame in which I'm going to eat lunch. These are all the things that I'm going to do. I had a one-on-one with a great team member. He's been with us for a little bit over a year now, Mark Pollard, this morning. And he basically said there's not a whole lot that I need to cover during a one-on-one today, because several months ago, I had a one-on-one with Cassie and it changed my life. And he said it was all about planning my day and time blocking. And now I can legitimately just look at my calendar, look at my time blocks, and it's based off of colors. It's some of the most simplest things. Oh, it's peach on my calendar. That means I need to be calling sellers right now. It's planned out. He doesn't have to sit there and think about what else do I need to be doing? Should I be working on my website? Should I respond to this email right now? No. The time block right now is to call sellers, so he doesn't have to think and make a decision. He just does that. There'll be time blocks set aside for everything else if you plan your day correctly. Number 4, create daily goals, not long-term goals. Now, long-term goals are fantastic to have, and you should write them down, but they should be reverse engineered down to daily goals. And your intention for each day should be to win the day. What is my goal today? And did I accomplish it or did I not? If you don't create daily goals, that large long-term goal, especially with us coming in the new year, and this is why I do this video every single year to kick it off, is make sure that you're not saying, all right, going into 2026, I want to have $1 million in revenue. Okay. How are you going to achieve $1 million in revenue? Now, reverse engineer that all the way down to what do you have to accomplish on January 1st to check off whether or not you did that to get you to your goal every single day. How do you win that day? And so for me, it's always been about daily goals. 50 deals in 50 states in 50 days. One deal every single day in a different state. One video every single day for 2 years straight now. I make my goals pretty simple. Normally it's, can I do the one thing that I'm supposed to do as a business operator? Can I do that every single day? And if I do, at the end of the year, what does that look like? That's how I actually decide what the goal looks like. What am I going to do daily? What do I believe that I can actually accomplish per day? That's what the end of the year should look like. Most everybody wants to do it the other way. Let's create a big, large yearly goal or monthly goal and then reverse engineer it. Do it the opposite way. What do you actually think you can accomplish during a day? And what does that look like if you do it for 365 days straight? Number 5, time block by reverse engineering to accomplish said goals. So we talk about plan your day, create daily goals. Now, time block that to actually accomplish those goals. So if I say I'm going to get a property under contract every single day, how much time do I need to be able to get a property under contract every single day? For some of us, that might be 2 to 3 hours. Some of you, it might be 8 to 10. But that time block needs to be there. It needs to be across the board for all of the daily goals that you have, not just in business, but in everything. Time block by reverse engineering your goals for your health and your fitness, for your diet, for whatever you want to accomplish in business, for your life. How are you going to show up for your spouse? How are you going to show up for your kids? Time block accordingly. So now you know this is how I'm going to actually accomplish my daily goals and what I want to accomplish in my life. Now, number 6, on the note of time blocking, number 6 is schedule the not fun stuff first. And the analogy that I always use when I talk about scheduling the not fun stuff first is when I eat my dinner, the first thing that I'm going to eat is my vegetables, not the main entree. All right. Now, I know that sounds childish, but the facts are I get to stare at my kids' plates every single night after dinner and see that they didn't eat all the food on their plate. And what normally gets left is the vegetables. And why? Well, they dove in and they ate the main entree. Then we do the exact same thing when it comes to business. There are going to be some really not fun things that we have to deal with. Now, I want to remind you that you made the decision that you want to run your own business. And that means that you have to deal with all the not fun stuff as well as the fun stuff. So if you get served a lawsuit, you have to deal with that. And that's not fun. No one enjoys talking to an attorney. Even other attorneys don't enjoy talking to attorneys. But if you get served a lawsuit, you have to do that. So you have to schedule out when you're going to do that. It should be the first thing that you schedule. Because otherwise, you are going to find every reason in the world to avoid dealing with the not fun stuff. So I use this example last year. When I have my meetings with my CFO, it's the first thing that I do to start off the day. Why? Because I hate talking about finances. I don't like talking about money. I don't like talking about what we need to do for tax preparation. It's not fun. It's not something that gives me joy. So it's the first thing I do. So then I know once it's over, everything else after that is going to be enjoyable. And I don't have a problem accomplishing it after I get the not fun stuff done. Number 7, schedule time for nothing. Now, I talked a lot about plan your day, time block by reverse engineering to hit your daily goals, schedule the not fun stuff. You need to have time throughout the day where you have freedom to do whatever it is that you want. For example, social media. It's a critical part of our lives. Being on our phones, knowing what's taking place in business, seeing what other people are doing. It's a part of our society. So you're going to find yourself doom scrolling. If you schedule time where you don't have anything to do at some point in time during the day, that would be the time that you could do that. Or it could be get up, walk around your office, walk around your house, shoot the shit with your friends, your colleagues, your spouse, your kids, whoever it is. For me, that's one of the things that I enjoy, to be able to accomplish a task, check, won that time block. Oh, look, after that, guess what I have? 30 minutes of nothing. I don't need to do anything in particular over the next 30 days or 30 minutes. So I can do whatever I want. One of the things that I have right here is this entire stack of cards. Titanium University, they're blank on the other side. I've got a pen. Sometimes I write thank you notes. Sometimes I just write letters to people and expressing gratitude and letting them know that I appreciate them. Where does that fit in? During my nothing time block. Sometimes it's reading. Sometimes it's messing around and listening to music or watching a video. Whatever it is, it resets my mind to then proceed into the next time block that is either something fun that I want to do and accomplish or something not fun. But at least I have that reset time to do nothing so I don't get burned out. This is how I've been able to sustain the daily wins over and over and over again. It's not about the constant grind. It's about understanding who I am as a person and giving myself grace to have time to do nothing. Number 8, be okay saying no. Now, this is hard for some people when they're asked to do something or asked to attend a call, be on a podcast. Can you do this video? Can you help me comp this property? Will you JV and dispo this deal? And a lot of times people will say yes when they know for a fact that they should say no, and they should pass on this quote unquote opportunity that has been presented to them. Now, I struggled with this for many, many years. Anytime there was an opportunity that was presented to me, the answer was almost always yes. And part of the reason why is because I had never been asked. I had never been offered these opportunities before. And so it was always, I'm jumping at it. I don't know if this will ever happen again. And what ended up happening is because I never said no, I started giving kind of half-ass efforts towards stuff because it wasn't really where my attention and my focus should have been on. You need to be okay saying no. Now, one of the easiest ways to do this is by knowing exactly what you're focused on inside of your business and what your business is trying to accomplish. So one of the things that you, especially if you're a real estate wholesaler, need to be focused on saying no to is all of these beautiful opportunities that come across your plate on deals that you could make so much more money. There was a TU member that had a property under contract in Pennsylvania yesterday, and his first question was, should I take this property down and wholesale it? My question was, have you ever done a wholesale before? Well, no, but this seems like the golden opportunity right here to be my first. This would be one of those times where if you eliminate that even being a decision, you don't have to get good at saying no. The answer just automatically is no, because that's not what your business does. And so both as an individual and as a business, you need to be okay saying no and understanding what the priority is and what you're focused on as an individual and a business. Number 9, have high intensity sessions followed by high intensity decompression sessions. Now, you've probably heard me talk about this, and I speak about this all the time inside of the TU implementation calls, where it's, I listen to a seller call and I can hear that the closer is not as focused on what the seller is saying as well as they probably should have been. And the first question that I ask is not me chewing their ass. It's, how long had you been on the phone? How long had you been dialing before you had this call? Because if you're 2, 3, 4 hours into a call session and you get on the phone with a grumpy seller, it's a lot easier for you to match that and relay over the previous calls and the frustration that you're feeling. And that comes from not having decompression sessions where you're not always grinding and hustling, because you are a human. You have needs outside of what you are trying to accomplish inside of your business. Sometimes it's really healthy to go out and feel the sun, smell the fresh air, walk around, get some steps, grab a snack, speak to someone else besides the seller. If you're constantly just in high intensity sessions, who you're actually negatively impacting is yourself and your business. You're letting yourself down because you're putting constant pressure on yourself to perform. And it oozes out of you, and you are not listening. You're not hearing others, and you're not performing at the maximum capacity that you have. Majority of people lack in skill sets. They need to build up the skill sets on listening, talking to sellers, comping and underwriting. If you're not at 100% of whatever your capability is, when you already need to be working on skill sets, imagine how bad that is in the long run. So give yourself a little bit of grace and have high intensity decompression sessions. So for me, I like to time block it 2 hours on, 15 to 30 minutes off. Back 2 hours on, 15 to 30 minutes off. That could be seller calls. It could be working on a project. It could be an implementation call. It could be anything, recording videos. If I was constantly going, the quality is going to suffer, and so will the results. Number 10, express gratitude consistently. Now, I kind of already shot my shot on this, but I talked about these thank you cards right here. But I feel like the world would be such a better place if we actually took more time to sit around and be thankful for all the people that impact us. And as an entrepreneur, when you really start thinking about it, there are things that we can control inside of our business and the results. But in reality, we are relying on a lot of other people, and especially in the wholesaling world, when you think about it. First and foremost, for the majority of us, no matter what you're doing for lead generation, you are relying on some third-party business to perform for you in order for you to get leads. Even if you're cold calling, you're relying on the data, you're relying on the dialer, you're relying on the phone system, relying on comping softwares. We need our end buyers, we need title companies, we need closing attorneys, we need contractors to perform for our end buyers so they can buy more properties from us. We are always constantly relying on other people inside of our business and in our lives. So gratitude should be at the forefront of your mind at all times. Who can I thank today for allowing me to be in this position to create my own reality? And express that, especially if you're a man. But the reason why I'm picking on us men is because the majority of us are really poor at expressing gratitude and truly showing how thankful we are for those that impact our lives to allow us to have this opportunity to have this business that can feed our families and support our lifestyles and hopefully allow us to achieve freedoms in the future. So express that gratitude. Don't be embarrassed by it. Don't feel like you're a freak for saying thank you all the time. It's important. It's important for people to understand that you appreciate the efforts that they give for you. Number 12, hold yourself accountable. Now, this is one of the big things that entrepreneurs really struggle with, is because deep down, we have this majority of entrepreneurs, they struggle with accountability. That's probably one of the reasons that drove you to wanting to run your own business. You don't want people holding you accountable. So now that you've made that decision, you're the boss, you're the leader, and you're the decision maker. You have to hold yourself accountable to all of these things that I just talked about: having a good night's sleep, creating a morning routine, planning your day, having daily goals, time blocking by reverse engineering to achieve those goals, and scheduling the not fun stuff, and holding yourself accountable to actually doing the not fun stuff. Scheduling time for nothing and holding yourself accountable to when that time block ends, checking back in to whatever you need to do now. Being okay to saying no and not saying it's just this one time, RJ. Having high intensity sessions and then high intensity decompression and actually showing gratitude to others. If you can hold yourself accountable to these elements, then success will follow. But where most people struggle is, I haven't been actually hitting my time blocks. I've been saying on my calendar that I'll have 2 hours of talking to sellers, but in reality, it's the holidays and I had to go Christmas shopping, or I had to go do this thing. And so I didn't hit it that day. That's where you let yourself down. And because of it, you're not going to achieve the long-term goals because you didn't hit the daily goal. And then you want to blame other people. You want to blame circumstances. This is why we talk about excuse plus a story. You can't have the excuse plus story. We all have excuses, and we all have the story that follows it. Have a reason and a solution, and hold yourself accountable. Number 13, talking about being accountable, be on time. It's literally the most simple thing that you could ever do. But oh man, the majority of people really suck at it. It's really easy to just be on time, especially if you plan your day out and you have time blocks. So you see a consistent theme here. Glenn joined the first class of Titanium University about 2-3 weeks ago to kick off the implementation call. He goes, man, RJ, I have to thank you. You've been running these implementation calls for going on 2 years now, and you have never been late. What did I do? I expressed gratitude start off. I thank you for noticing, Glenn. I appreciate that. But I also said, it's also really easy. I know well in advance when that implementation call is going to start. So what do? If you look at my time blocks, I have a decompression session, a time block to do nothing 30 minutes before my implementation call. Why? Because the implementation call is a high intensity session. It can be an hour, it can be 2, it can be 3 hours. And it's going to be high intensity. 100, 150, sometimes even more people in there, all wanting to hear what I have to say, having questions coming from all different directions. Either a big deal, a title issue, who should I work with? Sometimes it's even emotional. So I time block myself for nothing right before that. And what else does that help me do? Show up on time, because I don't have anything right before that. So I'm fresh of mind, I'm ready to go, and I'm always on time. That is how you time block accordingly. And so you can be prepared and also be on time. Number 14, food is for fuel. Now, this is something that I have really been focused on over the past couple of years, basically since February of 2024, getting my health in order, trying to maintain a healthy weight, and also, yes, making sure that I'm always thinking about food as fuel, not enjoyment. Now, I didn't really think that I had this issue because I didn't, but I would make the poor decisions because food is enjoying. I mean, who doesn't love a great high calorie, bad for you meal? If it tastes fantastic, it's holidays. We all just had desserts, pies and cookies and treats. But at the end of the day, food is literally there for fuel, and it matters. And what I've seen as I've started focusing on this, more energy, feeling better throughout the day. And so look at it and pay attention to it. And another thing is plan out your meals. One of the worst things that you can do is not know what you're going to eat, because one of the things that happens is you might not eat at all. That happens a lot with entrepreneurs. Or second, you end up making a poor decision quickly in eating something that you shouldn't. Moving into that, staying in the health realm, the next is exercise. Make sure that you're getting your movement in. This is one of the big key things for me to make sure I win the day is what movement am I getting in? And again, I use my Whoop to track this, making sure that I am getting in the steps that I need a lot. My heart rate is getting up to a certain amount, and tracking how I'm aging as an adult. I'm 41 years old. I need to start paying attention to this. And so this is a constant thing that I am working on in my life, making sure that the daily movement is getting in and I'm exercising each and every day. Number 16, expect success. This is something that I can almost always tell very quickly with new entrepreneurs and new wholesalers when they come in is, how do they talk about themselves? How do they talk about what their future, whether it's the next day, the next week, the next month, what is that going to look like? And how do they talk about it? Now, if you come to me and you ask me, RJ, what do you think January is going to look like? I already know what January is going to look like because of the daily actions and the habits that we've had in December. So I already know what that's going to look like. And I expect that to come to fruition and for us to have that success. And so that's an issue for a lot of people because they don't look at it that way. They look at it as, what actions am I taking today? Is that going to impact tomorrow? What you really should be looking at is tomorrow, especially because of the industry we're in. Tomorrow is impacted on what you did 30 days ago. So your actions that you're taking today on December 30th are impacting what's going to be taking place on January 30th, January 29th. So I expect success because I know what we're doing today. I know what my team's doing. I know what I'm doing, and I expect that. I'm already thinking about the future, and I expect that success. But the new people that have not built up the rhythm and that cadence for what they're doing each and every day, it's a hope. I hope that I have success. I hope that there's a moment that comes across that leads to me getting a deal. I hope that I get a great lead. That's not the path to success. It's consistent actions every single day. That's what leads to the success over the course of time, and I expect it because of the habits that we have. Number 17, track and analyze your activity. In almost everything that I do, I have some sort of tracking mechanism to understand what we did and then what were the results and what does that look like in comparison to what we've done in the past. Whether it's what we're doing inside of our wholesale business with KPIs, whether it's this YouTube channel or this podcast, how many videos, how many podcasts have I released, how many listeners, how many views, what's the demographic, what's the engagement, the click-through rate. I track all of that. I brought up the Whoop. That's my health and fitness. I'm tracking. I'm always analyzing. What can I do better? This is important. Data matters across the board for your daily actions. So you need to be tracking that and analyzing it. That should be part of your scheduling. If it's not fun, schedule it as the first thing. If it's fun, schedule it sometime in there to actually analyze, what have I done? What's worked? What's not worked? Where do we need to pivot and why? If you're not doing that, you're setting yourself up for failure. Number 18, speaking of pivoting, make sure you pivot in small increments. This is inside of the wholesaling world. It's literally one of my least favorite things that I see is people pivoting in huge swings. They're not getting a result that they want, and so they make a decision that they're going to completely change everything about their business. Nationwide wasn't working, so we're going to change the lead generation. We're going to change the market. We're all of these wholesale changes across the board. And it's like, what wasn't working? And now you've made so many changes. If it were to work, do you know what's working? And if it still doesn't working, how are you going to figure out what isn't working? So anytime I look at someone that's not succeeding, it's what's the one pivot that we're going to make? And a lot of times it's a very like almost unseeable small change. Like, hey, RJ, Speed to Lead Coupon Club is what I'm using for lead generation. I'm not getting deals. Let's go from sale leads for $29 to active leads for $59. Let's make that small of a pivot. Instead of, I'm going to go from using Speed to Lead Coupon Club nationwide to now I'm going to cold call inside of my local market. What a massive wholesale change inside of your business. And it's such a huge swing that it's really hard to know if it's going to work or if it's working or not and where you actually need to work. Because the majority of the time when people make huge changes in their business, it's because they lack a skill set, not because of whatever they wanted to change inside their business. So even if they see short-term results, they inevitably fall back into failure. Number 19, be loud about your goals. So we talked about way back up there, number 4, create daily goals. Now on 19, be loud about your goals. And the reason why I mean be loud about your goals is you should be talking about it. It should be on the forefront of your mind, and it should be a conversation that you want to have, a conversation that you want to hear other people's opinions, both positive and negative. I want people to know what I'm doing, what I'm working on. I'm doing 50 deals in 50 states in 50 days. That's dumb. Why would you do that? Blah, 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 blah. That's amazing, RJ. How are you going to do it? And the reason why is because you're going to hear other people's perspective on it, but you're also going to fall in love with the idea. It's going to be what you're constantly thinking about. And so if you're always sharing it with other people, it's going to become a part of you. It's going to be what you're focused on at all times. So be loud about your goals. Don't be shy. It's not about being quiet or being audacious. It's about prioritizing your focus. What are you mentally thinking about? We've all just had Christmas and Thanksgiving where we probably had to talk to a family member that we don't talk to very often. And what I like to do during these conversations is they like to ask me about how's business? What's been going on with business? Well, I don't want to talk about what we've done in the past because that does come across as braggadocious. But what I do want to talk about is what I'm working on. And the reason why is because it gives me an opportunity to share my thoughts and my insights as to why this is a goal I'm trying to accomplish to someone who, quite frankly, doesn't give a shit. Now, some family members might. More often than not, it's just small talk. And that's okay. I'm leveraging that moment to share what's important to me and what I'm trying to accomplish. So that's just an analogy that I use right there. Number 20, surround yourself with success. It is very important that as an entrepreneur, you are surrounded by other entrepreneurs, people that are like-minded, people that are trying to accomplish the same thing that you're trying to accomplish, because otherwise you are going to be surrounded with people that doubt you, that bring you down mentally, that are telling you what you're trying to accomplish is dumb or stupid, that you're not. You need to be surrounded with people that are both, one, trying to accomplish the same thing as you, but also that have accomplished the same thing as you. It is important for your mental health as an entrepreneur because entrepreneurship is a lonely, lonely position. Then I will stand on that hill. It is so often that I talk to an entrepreneur and it's like, I felt like I could never tell anybody that I was struggling. I never felt like I could tell anybody that I was doubting myself. Well, you can say that to another entrepreneur. You can look at someone that's going through the exact same struggles as you, or to someone that has gone through the exact same struggles and came out the other side successfully, and say, what did you do? How did you overcome these moments? When your spouse doubted you, what did you do? When you looked at your kids and you couldn't pay your bills, how did you overcome that stress and that anxiety? If you're not surrounded by people that can answer those questions, then you are in a very dark place. This is one of the many reasons why we created Titanium University. Going back to my one-on-one with Mark this morning, we were having a great conversation. I love Mark to death. He's just a great human being. And Mark and I were talking about the impact that TU has had on his life. And I told him, the issue that I have right now is the majority of people want to join Titanium University to learn how to wholesale. And they want to siphon as much information about how to be a real estate wholesaler and entrepreneur out of mine and Cassie's and Nick's brains. because it's education. It makes sense, right? But the reality of it is that that's a small piece of what you're actually getting. And Mark talked about the importance that he had with the conversations with other people inside of Titanium University that really helped him. Small little nudges, words of encouragement, text messages, and off conversations on Zooms and Discords and StreamYards. And just that's what made a difference for him, where he went from not wanting to be social at all to now always wanting to build a new relationship and having partnerships inside of TU, because it is a lonely place. And being lonely is not a positive thing. It's not good to sit there and feel like you're alone when you're not. But in reality, it's what we signed up for as entrepreneurs. So if you're not surrounded by other people that have the same vision as you and are trying to accomplish the same things, you can and you will be alone. Number 21, eliminate stress, panic, and vices with purpose, solutions, and freedom. Now, for many of you, you might be listening and saying, well, that's cute. That sounds fantastic. Okay, eliminate stress and panic and vices. Well, none of us ever looked at a vice, whatever it is, and said, I would take another one, please. Can I please have another vice? Right? None of us ever say we want stress or panic. But let's rewind and think about what we are trying to do as an entrepreneur. We made a decision to look at a world that says you have an opportunity to go work for someone else and they will guarantee you a paycheck. We can all go do that. We can all go accomplish that, and it's easy. We all stared at that and we said, no, thank you. I would rather go out and create from scratch the opportunity to create strangers who do not know me at all, to trust me, to allow me to do some sort of action, to then deserve payment, and do that over and over and over again for the rest of my career. That's crazy. We have the easy way. We have the easy answer. And we said no, thank you. So stress and panic should not be a part of the equation. The reason why is because you had the opportunity to avoid the stress and the panic, and you said, I will take another. I want both stress and panic. I want that. And the way that you do that is, one, you have a purpose. What is the purpose that you are trying to have with your business? What is that why in your life? Why did you look at the easy road, which was working for someone else and getting a guaranteed paycheck? Why did you say no thank you to that? That's your purpose. So you better think about it and you better lean into it, because that's how you get rid of the stress and the panic. Solutions. By nature, if you said you want to be an entrepreneur, you said, I have a solution for strangers to trust me and give me money for that solution. So that's what you do. No matter what business you're in, you are a solution creator. So when panic sets in, when stress sits in, by God, lean into whatever it was that you convinced yourself that you were a solution creator. Because stress will only kill you. Panic doesn't get you solutions. But sitting down and having a purpose and looking at it and saying, this shall pass, slow down, let's offer a solution. And so when I say slow down, I want you guys to understand that I have literally been inside of business meetings with my partners, and there was stress and there was panic, and we're yelling and we're screaming and we got to do this. And I will tell you, I'll say, nope, slowing down. I don't like how this is going. I don't like the stress. I don't like the panic. We're not going to make a decision today. We're going to realize that whatever panic we have today, whatever stress we have today is not as important as the long-term purpose that we have as a company. And so we are going to come up with the correct solution, and we're going to do that by slowing down. And it's not going to happen because it's not worth it. There's very rarely a circumstance in business and inside of our organizations where we have to panic, make a decision right then and there, unless you've just been ignoring it until the last possible minute. So eliminate stress and panic. Do not fall into the world of vices. And as an entrepreneur, have your purpose. Realize that you are a solutions creator and that your end goal is to have that freedom that you looked at and said, I want to go after that. That's more important to me than having the guarantee in my life. Because you looked at it and you said, that's not for me. No, thank you. And number 22, the final element of success is reflect on your day. Earlier, we talked about create daily goals, plan your day. At the end of the day, you need to look back at it and you need to reflect. Did I win the day? Did I do what I set out to accomplish? Did I enjoy the day? Did I smile? Did I laugh? Did I make money? Is this what I want to continue doing? Reflect on it. So then the next day, if it wasn't what you wanted to do, plan your day differently. If it was, how do you replicate that over and over and over again? But if you never sit back to reflect, if you never sit there and think about what did it look like? I had a meeting right here in this office a couple of years ago. And it was me and Cassie, and there was a couple of other people. And it was the worst day that I've ever had at this office. It was the stress. It was the panic. There was emotions, nasty things said across the board from everybody. And I remember thinking to myself when I left office, so this is the worst day that I've ever had at this office, and it's not ever going to happen again. I'm going to make sure that that never happens. I don't want my life to look like this because I did say no, thank you. And I accepted that there will be stress and panic. But I said the freedom that I want, the purpose that I have behind creating titanium is not to have days like this. Some of the best days that I've ever had, when I reflect on them, I ask myself, how can I try to replicate that result over and over and over again? And I have to say one of the things I'm most proud of for 2025 is that I looked at those days more frequently than the negative days. And I dug more into how can I have more positive days like that than trying to eliminate the negative days. And I personally believe that that started with making sure that I was reflecting on my day each and every day on my way home. It's very simple. I get in my car, I turn on music, and I reflect. It's an 8-minute drive. It doesn't have to be a long reflection, but it's what went good, what went bad, how do we replicate it, or how do we eliminate that? What do I want tomorrow to look like? Do I want it to look like today? Can I do that? So to go back over the 22 elements of productivity, Have a good night's sleep. Create a morning routine. Plan your day. Create daily goals. Time block by reverse engineering to achieve said goals. Schedule the not fun stuff first. Schedule time for nothing. Be okay with saying no. Have high intensity sessions followed by high intensity decompression sessions. Express gratitude consistently. Hold yourself accountable. Be on time. Food is for fuel. Exercise. Expect success. Track and analyze activity. Pivot in small increments. Be loud about your goals. Surround yourself with success. Eliminate stress, panic, and vices with purpose, solutions, and freedom. And reflect on your day. Everybody, that is the 22 elements of productivity. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, make sure you like the video. Have a very safe and blessed New Year's Eve tomorrow. We do have videos coming out over the next several days about what to plan on moving forward into the new year. Next Tuesday, we will be rolling out the 2026 Titanium fleet, all of the systems that we will be using inside of Titanium Investments moving forward for the new year. Hope you have a happy new year. We'll see you guys tomorrow.